بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, we are on the subject of the Seerah in application, applied Seerah. Because we say that the blessed life of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the best example for us to follow in this life. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, and this is what we know and understand from the history of Islam itself. That as long as Muslims followed the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were respected, they contributed to society, they were highly valued, they were influential. But when they stopped that and they stopped following the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they started following other ways, then we ended up with a situation that we see around us, where Muslims have no influence and where Muslims are suspected, they are feared, they are hated. So obviously the key is to come back to the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that we once again we become members of society who are respected and who are loved for what they contribute to society. This is the basic principle, the basic message of Islam is to spread goodness around us wherever we are, no matter where we are. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the example of a believer is like a bottle of perfume, right? So the person who uses the perfume benefits. Even the people who don't, they are not buying. It's like sitting in a perfume shop. Even if you don't buy the perfume, even if you don't use the perfume, just the fact that you are sitting in the shop, you benefit from the smell of the perfume, and maybe when you go out of the shop, some of that smell is on your clothes and so on and so forth. And he said that he gives this example as the company, good company and bad company. He said somebody who's sitting in a perfume shop is like someone who is in good company. Even if he doesn't actually take the perfume, it still helps him, benefits him. And vice versa, if somebody is sitting in a blacksmith's forgery, in the forge, then there is smoke, there is dust, there is even sparks, and maybe some spark will settle on his clothes, it will burn his clothes. And even if all that doesn't happen, when he comes out of that shop and he goes home, then he will only smell of smoke. And this is also the example of a believer, a Muslim, who becomes like the perfume, where people benefit from him directly and people also benefit from him indirectly, because even though he may not directly meet somebody or do something, but around him he creates an environment of goodness, an environment of kindness, an environment of compassion, which benefits everybody. So that is what we are trying to do here, to see how can we implement the Seerah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in our lives. We are following the book called Seerah is the Answer, where we are looking at 8 what I call switches. So switching from this to that. And the first of that we looked at was switching in terms of our sense of identity itself. What is my self-concept? Is my identity that I am the king? I do whatever I like. I don't care about anybody else. I make the rules. If I like something, I do it. If I don't like something, I don't do it. No matter whether that is good or bad, no matter whether it harms society or it benefits society, I don't care. I will do whatever I like. That is the nature of a king. And we have said that we need to change that. If that is how I am, then I need to change that. I need to change it to becoming a vicegerent, a governor, a deputy of the real king, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the work of the deputy is not to implement his own will, but to implement the will of his master. So what is the will of the master? That is reflected in the life of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we obey. We don't order, we obey. Even the good that we enjoin and we encourage people to do is not from our own personal desire. It is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for us. And we do this because we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever Allah has decreed, is for our benefit. It does not benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who was Samad? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from all needs. Allah has no needs. Allah has nothing that anybody can give him, nothing that anyone can take from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from everything. Who was samad? But when Allah has decreed something for us, whether Allah said something is good, Allah said something is bad, both are for our benefit. So if we stay away from what Allah has prohibited, who benefits? We benefit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, Allah prohibited certain foods. Allah prohibited alcohol, Allah prohibited certain foods. Now if we don't eat those things, if we do not consume alcohol, who is benefiting? We are benefiting. If you consume alcohol, who is harmed? We are harmed. The one who is consuming is harmed. Right? So therefore we follow. So that's the first switch, to move from master to vicegerent, to governor, to deputy, to slave, to abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second switch that we make is with regard to dealings. And that is, so if you look at the first switch has to do with what we call huququllah, which is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on us. And the second switch has to do with what we call huququl ibad, which is the rights of the people on us. Now in huququl ibad, dealings of complete and total justice with everybody. That is the message of Islam. The message of Islam is there is no injustice. This is very beautiful to understand, and this is something we should talk about openly, because sometimes when people feel, they say, oh, the Sharia is bad and the Sharia is something which is negative and so on. That is because people don't understand what is the meaning of the Sharia. The law of Islam, there is one law for everybody, whether the person is Muslim or non-Muslim. The Sharia of Islam does not distinguish between the Muslim and non-Muslim. There is not one law for the Muslim and some other law for the non-Muslim. It is the same law. All the rewards, all the punishments, what is right, what is wrong, everything is the same for the Muslim and the non-Muslim, including, in some cases, the non-Muslims have, within quotes, some things that look like an advantage to them. For example, in a Muslim country which is run according to the Sharia, the Muslims are prohibited from consuming alcohol, but the non-Muslim is not prohibited because he is not following Islam. So if he wants to consume alcohol, then this is permitted for him. It is not prohibited. Now, openly selling it in shops and so on and so forth, they might prohibit that. But for example, in the Catholic Church, when you are doing Holy Communion, you are drinking wine, right? Now, this is not prohibited. If you have a Catholic Church in a Muslim country, they are permitted to worship according to their rites, and part of the rites of, obviously, part of the Holy Mass is to do Holy Communion, and Holy Communion is to drink wine in that, and the wafer, and this is permitted. Islam does not say don't do it. So it might look like an advantage. In that sense, I am saying it's not an advantage, because if somebody is doing worshipping something other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't consider that as an advantage. But I am saying that freedom to that extent is given. So this is something to explain to people and say that, look, this is not don't follow the propaganda that you have been hearing. In Islam, there is complete and total justice for everyone in society. Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu was going down the street and he met a very old Jewish man who looked like he was in dire straits. He looked like he was on hard times. So Sayyidina Umar asked him, why are you looking like this? You look like you haven't had enough to eat and you look like you're weak or something. He said, well, what to do? I have nobody to support me. I have no family. I live alone in Medina, and I'm now old. I can't work anymore, so I can't earn anymore, and so I am in a difficult time. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu immediately called his people and he said that, look, here is this man. When this man was healthy and when he was young, he was living here, he was working, he was paying taxes. Now the man is old and he has no one to look after him, and we have abandoned him. He said, how can that be? So Sayyidina Umar decreed that the man must be given a pension lifelong, that he must be given a house, and that he should be taken care of and his needs must be taken care of at the expense of the state. He did not say let the man become Muslim first. No. Let him be Muslim or not Muslim. Doesn't matter. The state is responsible for the man because he is a citizen of the country. Whether he is a Muslim or a non-Muslim, in Islam there is no distinguishing on the basis of religion. A Muslim and a non-Muslim are both entitled to the same justice, which is the justice of Islam, as long as they are living under that rule. So this is the second switch from different strokes for different folks to one law for everyone. And of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu and His Habib Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they go a step ahead, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. Allah said, Allah has made amr, Allah has ordered you to be just, wal ihsan, and to do more. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when you weigh, give more. When you are weighing, give more. Now imagine if what happens, to look at it from a purely worldly context. Let me tell you a couple more of these things, and I'll show you how it works. First, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you weigh, give more. So you are giving the customer, he said, give the customer a little bit more than what the customer is asking for. So customer paid you for something, but give him a little bit more than what he paid for. So that is one rule that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is establishing. Then Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you sell something to somebody, you sold it, the man paid for it, he took it home. If he does not like it, he brings it back, he said, take it back. Just take it back. Huh? When is he saying this? In the 7th century. What do you do with Amazon today? What do you do with LLP? LLP, you buy a product, you can wear it your whole life, and you bring it back after 10 years, they will take it back. No questions asked. Amazon, you buy something today, you send it tomorrow, he not only does he take it back, he even ships it back at his own cost. You don't even pay for the shipping. How many airlines do you know which have frequent flyer programs? All airlines. What's a frequent flyer program? I bought a ticket, but I am getting something extra, which is the miles on that ticket. So then I fly enough, a few flights with this airline. Now with those miles, I can get a free ticket. Or I can get an upgrade, free upgrade. I didn't pay for those extra miles. Those extra miles were given to me. I paid $100, I got worth 110. And so on and so forth. Today, there are huge global businesses which are following these rules. They don't know that these rules were rules which were set up by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm talking about commercial business rules. And I can say this with complete confidence that he set up these rules because these were not the rules of the time. These were not the rules of the time. You read history. That's why I love to read history. History gives you perspective. These were not the rules. These were rules which were completely revolutionary at the time. People said, what? Somebody buys something, takes it home, brings it back tomorrow morning and says, I don't like it. What if you don't like it? You bought it. Sorry, goodbye. I mean, I don't care. You bought it. It's yours. You don't like it, stuff it, throw it or whatever. You sell it to somebody else. I don't care. I won't take it back. I mean, this is how we normally deal, right? No. Whatever, don't even ask him why he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it, take it back. Khalas, give his money back. What is he saying? He's saying that human relationships are more important than whatever deal you are doing. Now you might say, you know what, this guy takes a suit, maybe he wanted to go to a wedding that night, he takes the suit, he wears it for the wedding, he brings it back next morning, and he says, I don't like it. Maybe. I mean, nobody can say there's no one who does that. No, of course, some people do it. Not everybody does it. Some people do it. I was in Australia in Perth. So we were staying in a guest house and we needed something. So this friend of mine said, I'll come take you to the grocery store. I walk into the grocery store and I go into the aisles. I pick up whatever I need. I distinctly remember I needed. And those days I used to get migraines. So somebody told me if you eat black grapes, you don't get migraines. These are rubbish, but this is what. So I wanted black grapes. So I went and there were black grapes there. So I bought 2 kilograms of black grapes. Now I come out, I am looking for the cash counter. Checkout counter. There is nothing. There is no checkout counter. So I said to my friend, well, how do I pay for this thing? He said, no problem. You see, there's an iPad, the keypad on the wall. Just key in what you bought, and total will come. Slide in. He gave me his card. You slide in the card and pay. Self-pay. So I said to him, now I bought 2 kilograms of grapes. If I write in that thing, if I type 1 kilogram, what happens? He said, nothing happens. You will get charged for 1 kilogram. I said, supposing I bought 5 items and I put in only 4. What happens? He said, nothing. You walk away with one free. I said, do people do that? He said, if everybody did that, would the store be here? Huh? These are the principles of Islam, of complete justice, of trusting people, of respecting people. And people respond with that. As the man said, maybe there is somebody who might do it, somebody might accidentally miss out something, or somebody might deliberately do it. Maybe someone doesn't have money, he needs to eat, so he goes, picks up a piece of bread and walks home, doesn't pay for it. Dealing, justice. And then more. Today we look at the third one, which is culture. And in terms of culture, the Islamic principle is to move from discrimination on any basis to complete equality in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, discrimination happens in many ways for many reasons. There is discrimination on the basis of color, there is discrimination on the basis of race, there is discrimination on the basis of language, there is discrimination on the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, there is discrimination on the basis of economic status, the rich and the poor. Some of these things are overt, they are very clear. In some cases, they are not overt, but they are equally powerful, they are equally repressive. Right? All kinds of ways of discrimination. Islam says there is no discrimination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qabaila lita'arafu. Allah said, O human beings, Ya ayyuhan nas, Allah said, O mankind, we have created you from one person, a male and a female, and then we made you and divided you into nations and tribes. For what? لِتَعَارَفُ. So that you may recognize one another, so that you may appreciate one another, so that you may think well of one another. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The highest among you, the most preferred among you, the most honorable among you is the one who has the highest taqwa, who has the most taqwa. Inna Allah alimun khabir, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is completely and totally knowledgeable, and He is all aware. He has the khabar, He knows, and He is alim, al-alim, He has knowledge. Now think about this. The criterion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave of superiority is at-taqwa. It is not race, it is not nationality, it is not color, it is not anything. It is at-taqwa. Now, who knows how much taqwa somebody has? Nobody, except Allah. Now you might say, well, I can maybe say that somebody has taqwa, meaning here is a person who is praying tahajjud every day, here is a person who is praying all the 5 salawat in the masjid, here is a person who is reading so much Quran every day. So therefore, this person has taqwa. My submission is, we don't know that. We do not know that, because maybe this person is praying all of this to show the people. For example, how do you know this person is praying tahajjud? Because he is praying tahajjud in his house. If you know that, then either you know him so well that you have been there, you have seen it. Otherwise, somewhere he mentioned it. For example, somebody will say, you say, Shaykh, please make dua for me. You say, I will make dua today in tahajjud. Why are you telling me that you are praying tahajjud? He said, make dua, you say, Alhamdulillah, inshallah, I will make dua. Khalas, you make it in tahajjud, but no need to tell the person. If you are telling the person, I will make dua in tahajjud, then wallahu alam, I'm not saying everyone who says that has that niyyah, but wallahu alam, maybe the niyyah is to now show you that I am praying tahajjud. If that is the niyyah with which the person is praying tahajjud, then what happened to tahajjud? It's gone. No, there is no ikhlas in the niyyah, so Allah does not accept something which has adulteration. So even where we see the behavior of somebody, there is no guarantee that there is taqwa. So Allah is saying, a person is superior on on what basis? On a basis that only Allah knows. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, it's not your job to sit in judgment on somebody else and point a finger and say that he is a superior man and this is an inferior. That's not your job. You look at yourself and say, what is the level of my taqwa? Focus on yourself. Don't worry about other people. Don't sit in judgment on somebody else. Don't discriminate against anybody. Look at yourself. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who have taqwa, who real taqwa, with ikhlasun niyyah, who on the day of judgment, when we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bear witness for us that we have taqwa, inshallah. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in terms of this culture, he wanted to establish this. Society at that time was just as racist, just as discriminatory as society today. There was no difference. Even in those days, racism was very much there. There were people who were slaves who were looked down upon. People of dark color were looked down upon. African people were looked down upon. All of this is part of society. So what does Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what does he do? He does not simply say, you should not do this. No. He actually sets an example. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was given a young boy as a slave by our mother, by his wife, Khadija al-Kubra radiyallahu anha. A little boy called Zayd bin Haritha. He was about maybe 8-9 years old. Zayd bin Haritha was sold. Sayyidah Khadija radiyallahu anha bought him and gave him to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his servant. Now what does the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he do? The first thing he does is he frees him. First thing. No slave. Free, you are a free man. And then he keeps him in his house. This little boy is in his house. He's treated like a family member of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Zayd bin Haritha radiyallahu anhu says, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent me one day to buy something. He gave me some money. So he said, I went, and on the way I saw some friends of mine, they were playing. I got involved with them. I started playing the game. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent him. And after some time, there was no sign of this boy. So he got worried. He came searching for him. He found him playing. So Zayd bin Haritha said, suddenly I saw him. He called me. I saw him. I got frightened. I thought, maybe he's going to rebuke me or scold me or something. So anyway, he came. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, what happened? You forgot what I sent you for. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I forgot. He said, okay, now give me the money. You play and I will go and get it. Yeah. Now Zayd bin Haritha said, I started searching here and there. Money is gone. He was playing. Money fell down somewhere. You can't find it. Money fell out of his pocket somewhere. You couldn't find it. He said, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam laughed. He said, don't worry, you play, and when you finish your game, come home. So here is this little servant boy. Zayd bin Haritha was African, he was black. There's a whole story, how he happened to become a slave and so on and so forth. I won't take your time here. Beautiful story. But he was black. And the reason why I'm saying all this. So here is a little black African boy who is in the house of Rabbi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he does this. No rebuke, no anger, no nothing. He laughs about it. He's okay, no problem. You go, finish your game, and come back home. Then what happens is, this boy, he was actually from Yemen. So he had been captured by the Romans. They took him away. He got sold, and he came back. So his father and so on were searching for him. They lost their son, so they were searching for him. Eventually, somebody told them that, look, it looks like your son is in Makkah and he is in the house of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the father and uncle, they both come to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they say that we believe that our son is in your house. So Zayd bin Haris has called, he said, oh yeah, this is my son. So they said, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they said, okay, if this boy is your slave, we will buy him from you. So please tell us what is the price. We will give you the price and we will take him. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, no, there is no price. He is not my slave. He is a member of my household. He is free. So they said, then can we take our son back with us? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, no problem. Most welcome. You can take him back if he wants to go back with you. I can't force him. I'm not going to force him. If he wants to go back with you, then he's welcome. So the father and uncle said, of course, I mean, he is my son. Why will he not go with me? So they said, we will ask him. They said, please ask. So they asked him. They said, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam first said, is this your father? He said, yes, this is my father. Who is this person? He is my uncle. So there is no difference of, there's no problem with recognition and so on. So here the father and uncle recognize the boy recognizes his father and uncle. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says to him, your father and uncle want to take you back home. Would you like to go with them? Zayd bin Haritha says, Ya Rasulullah, I will not leave you. I will not leave you. I will not go back with them. These people are astonished. He said, what kind of thing is this? Here is this little boy, 8-9 years old, who is lost from his home, who was sold as a slave, and now when his father and uncle come to take him home, he doesn't want to go. He said, I won't leave you. So they said, Alhamdulillah, if this is the case, the boy is happy, Alhamdulillah, let him be with you. As soon as they left, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam takes Zayd bin Haritha by hand to the haram. He stands there next to the Kaaba and he announces and says, this boy is my son. His name from now will be Zayd bin Muhammad. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah? Much later, when the ayat of Surah Al-Ahzab were revealed, and Zayd bin Haritha is the one who is the only person who is actually named in the Quran. His name Zayd is in Surah Al-Ahzab. This is the honor that Allah gave to Zayd bin Haritha. Allah named him in the Quran. He is the only person who is named, other than the Anbiya, the only one who is actually named. His name is in the Quran. So Zayd bin Haritha, only at that time he went back to his old name, which is Zayd bin Haritha. Until that time he was called Zayd bin Muhammad. So when we are talking about non-discrimination, we are not talking about somebody who is only talking. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam walked his talk. When he said everybody is equal, yes, he is equal. Who is Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? He is Quraishi. He is Hashimi. He is the aristocracy of the aristocracy. Who is his son? He is a black African boy who used to be a slave. Son. Huh? Then what did Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam do? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married him to his own cousin, Zainab bint Jahash. That marriage didn't work out. Zainab bint Jahash didn't really want to marry him, but she obeyed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam because he insisted. And that marriage was like about a year or something, then it broke up. But the point is, here is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam implementing something in actual practice and taking some difficult decisions. He practiced what he preached. He didn't say something and do something else. Right? Now, when he came to Medina, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam formed the Muslim brother, the Ansar and Muhajirun. He set up the brotherhood of faith, the Muslim Ummah. So who did he pair? Did he say, okay, no, here is an Arab, let me find an Arab for him? No. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam paired whoever he wished to pair, and this was Minallahi Ta'ala. He paired Salman al-Farsi, who was an Iranian, with Abu Darda al-Ansari, who was an Arab from Medina. Different language, different race, And the way the Arabs thought of themselves, the Arabs thought that they were the most superior of people, that their language was the only language of human beings, everything else was, is to call them Ummi. These are people who don't have a language. So anything other than Arabic was not even considered. It was like animals, you know what the animals say. They did not consider it even as a language. That was the level of arrogance with regard to their own racial superiority and language superiority. Rasulullah said, no. Equal. Now see the level of this equality and see how the Sahaba treated that. So Salman al-Farsi and Abu Darda al-Ansari, these are the two brothers. So one day Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu comes home. Abu Darda is not there radiallahu anhu. His wife is there, Darda. And Salman al-Farsi looks at her. She is looking disabled. She is not, her clothes don't seem to be sort of proper and all that. Proper meaning not that she was not bare anywhere. But the point is like what you would say, ironed, properly dressed and spiffy. She wasn't like that. So he said to her, "What's wrong? I mean, are you not well or something?" She said, "No, I am well. The issue is that your brother, meaning Abu Darda, he said, your brother is not interested in me anymore." So he said, "How do you say that? On what basis? Why do you say he is not interested?" She said, "Because he prays all night and he fasts all day. He has no time for me." So Salman al-Farsi says, "Okay, I will deal with this." So in the afternoon, Abu Darda al-Ansari comes home. He brings food for Salman al-Farsi. He puts the food there. He says, "Please eat." Salman al-Farsi says, "No, you sit with me and you also eat." So Abu Darda al-Ansari says, "No, I am fasting." He said, "No. What fasting? What is the fast today? There is no fast. Today is not Ramadan. It's nothing. So why are you fasting? Eat with me." He said, "No, but I already made the niyyah." He said, "Break the niyyah. Eat with me. Otherwise, I won't eat." Abu Darda is in a fix. He said, anyway, he got forced, so reluctantly he breaks his fast. He eats with it. Then in the evening, in the night when they are lying down to sleep, Salman al-Farsi, Abu Darda makes his bed and so on. Salman al-Farsi writes down. Abu Darda gets up. So Salman al-Farsi says, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to pray." He said, No, what pray? Lie down, sleep. There's no time for prayer. You finish Isha, everything is over. What prayer is this? You will sleep. So Abu Darda lies down for a little while. Then he's watching. He thinks the Salman al-Farsi is sleeping. He gets up. Salman al-Farsi says, "Where are you going?" He says, "I want to pray tahajjud." He said, No, this is not time. This is not time for tahajjud. You sleep. You sleep. So this happens a couple of times. Abu Darda is up to here with this. He says, "What is this man? He's oppressing me. He won't let me fast. He made me break my fast. He won't let me pray." Finally, at the last third of the night, Salman al-Farsi also gets up. Abu Darda also gets up. They make wudu, they pray tahajjud and so on. They go to Masjid al-Nabawi al-Sharif for Salatul Fajr. After Salatul Fajr, Rasulullah practice, he would turn around, he would sit, he would talk to people, he would advise them, he would ask if anyone had any dream and so on and so on. So at that time, Abu Darda radiallahu anhu makes a complaint. He says, "Ya Rasulullah, this brother of mine, he is making my life miserable. I was fasting, he made me break my fast. I want to pray, he won't let me pray. He tells me I have to sleep." Rasulullah listens to this whole thing. He says, "What did he tell you? Did he give you a reason why he said all this?" So Abu Darda said, "Yes, he gave me a reason." "What reason?" He said, "My brother says to me that your body has a right on you, your family, your wife has a right on you, and Allah has a right on you. Give each one his right." Give each one their right. Rasulullah said, "Your brother spoke the truth. Do that." Tell me, even today, even with our own brothers, can we take such a liberty? You will be playing with fire, no? Even your own brother will tell you, "What the hell? I mean, this is my life. Who are you interfering in my life? I must eat, I must do this." But this was not the way of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim. But the hearts were so pure, they were so together with this. No discrimination. Another one, Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anhu. Again, freed slave, African, Abyssinian. So in the hierarchy of the Jahiliyyah, pre-Islamic days, this is the lowest of the low, right? Who does Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam pair him with as a brother? With Abu Ruwaym al-Khatami, who was an Arab from Medina, from Gansar. So here is a black African man. On top of that, not just black African, ex-slave, paired with an Arab man. So now they stay together in the same house. So this person now, his brother, Abu Ruwaym, wants to get married. So he sent a proposal to, you just witnessed a nikah here, right? So so he sent a proposal to this bride's father. So the bride's father now wants to meet the groom. So Abu Ruwaym is going there, so he says to Bilal radiallahu anhu, because Bilal radiallahu anhu had great stature. He was the close confidant of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was literally assistant of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He used to stay with him and so on. So he had big equity in the society. So Abu Ruwaym said, please come with me and recommend me to my prospective father-in-law, because it will have some good effect, right? So Bilal goes with him. So when he goes there and so on, the father-in-law is very happy to see Sayyidina Bilal, and they go sit there. And then Sayyidina Bilal says, this man, Abu Ruwaym, who wants to marry your daughter, he says he's a good man. I can vouch for that. But he has a very short temper. He gets angry very fast. So now Abu Ruwaym is saying, I brought you to recommend me, and you are doing this recommendation. You will sabotage my problem. You will sabotage my case. If you say this, maybe the man will say, no, I don't want to marry my daughter to you. So anyway, eventually he got married to the girl he wanted. But this was Sayyidina Bilal's thing was, you want me to recommend you, I have to speak the truth. So I'm living with you. I know you are a short-tempered guy. You get angry very fast. So I must say this, because otherwise now tomorrow your wife gets married, she also comes, and then you start firing her or something. Then they will say, you didn't tell us this. You hit this thing. No, I have to be honest. And this was the nature of the Sahaba. So non-discrimination. This is what Islam teaches us. So therefore, my brothers and sisters, I don't want to take too much of your time. And today I think we also started a bit late. But the point is, I think the point is made, alhamdulillah, which is that the culture of Islam is to move away from discrimination on any basis to equality before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To treat everyone as if they are equal because they are equal. I think that's the important point to make here. It's not, you're not treating them as if they are equal, like you're not acting in a play. I'm pretending to treat you as an equal. Actually, I believe you are not equal. No. Inside here, equal. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Makkah, in Fatah Makkah, when he came there, who did he choose to call the other? Bilal bin Rabah. Believe me, nothing is accidental. First of all, with the Nabi alayhi salam, nothing is accidental, because everything is minallahi ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspires him and sends him wahi. And secondly, this is all very thought out, strategic actions to establish and make a certain point. So not only does he get Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anhu to call the adhan, the first adhan in the Kaaba after the cleaning of the Kaaba, the very first adhan is called not by the Nabi himself, which is he was the most appropriate person according to me to call the first adhan was Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself. Who is more appropriate to invite towards Allah than Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself? Nobody else. And then if he wanted to choose, there was any number of Sahaba, any number of the Akabirin of the Sahaba, from the Ansar or from the Muhajirun, who were all of them, they were there. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam could have picked any of them. He did not. He picked the one who he considered to be the best, which was Bilal bin Rabah. And then he makes Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anhu climb on top of the Kaaba and stand on top of the building to call the adhan. This is to establish that in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no up and down, there is no caste system, there is no upper caste and lower caste and more and less. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. This is what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us. And therefore, I remind myself and you, let us focus on this. Let us look at our own taqwa. Let us try to become muttaqeen and to treat everybody in the world, whoever they might be, wherever they might be, with complete and total non-discrimination, with complete and total equality, because that is what Islam teaches us. There is no discrimination in Islam on any basis. Everybody in Islam is equal, man or woman, and they are to be treated with respect, with dignity, and with honor. No one has any right in Islam to treat another person with disrespect or with any way of violating their dignity and honor. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill your hearts with His noor and with the hub and muhabbat and love for His Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with you and never to be displeased. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your coming. May Allah bless you. You came in all this snow and rain and so on and so forth. Despite that, may Allah take you safely back home. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you in every way from sources that you cannot imagine. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya